Good morning, and welcome to the afternoon edition of Wheatland County Nightly News, recorded weekly and posted monthly as an annual event. Here with our stories, your host, Gordo Blackhart.
Hello everyone and welcome. Today I will be discussing the upcoming provincial election in Alberta. I hope you will excuse me while I read because I can't remember jack shit. At any rate, I will not be discussing the parties, their platforms, the candidates, nor will I be expressing my own political opinions and views. I will be talking about voting and the need to do so. If you are a resident of Alberta and you are eligible to vote in this upcoming election and you do not know what to do, it's time to wake up and give your bloody head a shake. You should know this stuff. There is no excuse for any able, meaning any person who can think and communicate, who is eligible to vote in the election, not to cast a ballot. Here are the methods by which you can vote. 1. Voting in person. You can vote on election day, which is the 29th of May, less than a week away, from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can vote in advance at any advance polling station, and take note that they are not always the same place. So the advanced polling stations are open from the 23rd of May to the 27th of May, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can vote in person at your returning office with a special ballot. And there are instructions at the Elections Alberta site how to do that. 2, you can vote on a mobile device. Not nice. It's, I don't like the idea myself, but there are circumstances. And number 3, you can vote by mail. Again, I don't like the idea, but there are circumstances where people cannot get to a polling station. I appreciate that. For more information on these methods, locations, and times, I provided links, as I said, to Elections Alberta in the description below. Okay, what else have I got here? Right, so you've got all that information now. There is a way for every eligible voter to cast a ballot in this election. If you're making excuses for not voting, consider this. Promises, threats, and excuses are all lies. So be honest with yourself. Don't make excuses for not voting. Personally, I believe that voting should be mandatory. Sounds a little dictatorial, but not really. It's mandatory to stop at red lights, right? When you're driving. That's mandatory. Voting should be the same way. We have very, very poor voter turnouts in this country. Federal elections, provincial elections, civic elections. People just don't feel like voting. It's such a chore. That's so hard to do. Oh me, oh my. Well, use your rights or lose your rights. And it can happen. That is what this rant is all about. I know there are very few people who want to listen to some old fart babble on about anything. But you need to consider that I've been around for a while And I've seen a lot of changes to this country, and very few of those changes have been for the better. Our rights and freedoms over the last few decades have been dwindling. Up until the last 10 years or so, those changes, those losses have been insidious. Just a little here, a little there. Oh, it's just the government doing what it does, just taking away and taking away. But lately, those losses have been blatant and alarming. And it's not just the nation itself. It's not just the federal government doing this BS. It's happening on all levels of government. So don't kid yourself. It can happen. And it does happen, and it is happening. I've lived in 3 provinces and seen many changes in government at all levels. Unfortunately, the electorate in any of the jurisdictions where I have lived do not seem to realize that the elected government is supposed to work for them, not vice versa. And that leads to autocracy. And autocracy does not cherish democracy or freedom. And it all comes about because of complacency and apathy. Apathy and complacency are the 2 greatest destroyers of freedom and democracy. Think about it, it's true. Do nothing and expect the worst. Do something and hope for the best. If you cherish your rights and freedoms, do not lie to yourself with excuses for not voting. If you believe in keeping the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms in place, then get off your proverbial ass and vote. I know that this election is not federal and that the Charter is federal. But if you're not going to vote at the civic level, at the provincial level, then it is most likely that you are not going to vote at the federal level. And what are you going to end up with? A sad, sorry government. And you'll be the first to bitch and complain. Vote. For the love of freedom, vote. Research your candidates and your parties and vote wisely. Vote for those who will represent you. Vote for those who will work for you. Vote for those who are willing to fight to keep democracy alive. Which party or candidate is most clear and concise about their objectives? Which ones are able to answer your questions without a lot of stalling and rhetoric and political evasion? Choose wisely. Here's a short note to consider. If you do not vote, you're basically giving 2 votes to the person or party that you do not want in power. And you are opening the door to dictatorship. Thank you for listening. Get out and vote. For your sake. For every generation to come. Get out and vote. Don't let democracy die. And please, please share the hell out of this video before the election is over. Thank you very much. Have a great day and vote.